What the fuck is up, gamers? It's your boy, The Goods, and we are here for episode number 47 of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I always get stuck, like, here, at the second part where it's super fucking long. The investigation, I don't like it, so we need to go to prison governor's office. Realistically, I'm just gonna, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish more locations. 5-ish more locations. So here we go. We're gonna get this done tonight.
Back again, are you?
Yes. Hello.
I've heard all about your investigations. I read the report just now. He found him, eh? Vigil.
Yes, luckily.
Well, anywho, the lady doesn't work here no more, so your case is not to do with Barclay. I wouldn't like you to get the wrong idea about that.
Of course, yes. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago now, so...
Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given the job.
Alright, Kimmy, you get very well. So how about a handcuff biscuit?
Oh, they really are like little handcuffs, and as hard as irons, too.
So, what's supposed to do then today?
Well, there's something else we'd like to ask you about, actually.
Is that so?
We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from Genshin Asogi's cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something. Oh, he stiffened up quick.
Did I ever say Grace's death is not to do with things that might have happened to Barclay? Leave the past in the past, lad. Let's not fiddle about with irrelevant details.
His expressions changed completely. We're clearly onto something here. Interesting. Alright, let's talk about the 10-year-old legacy.
That murderers brought execution and our miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour, It's shocking embarrassment.
Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean?
Aye, for shame. The coroner confirmed the death of the man after his execution, cutting his life. And my chief warder at the time, Vigil, he was in charge of the whole affair.
But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it.
A rascal wouldn't I say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs?
Oh, how can I say no? You can never have too much iron in your diet. When Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what had happened, he was so despairing he jumped out of your office window, didn't he?
I didn't like to say, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. You don't think he wouldn't have jumped from the shock of his crime being exposed, eh? I do.
You wouldn't say otherwise, though, would you?
Of course. I can't shun all responsibility myself. I shouldn't have let him deceive me. Actually, there's barely anybody the kids will wear on at the time now. With Gregson having been murdered and Dr. Sy forbidden from having any visitors.
No visitors? Someone obviously doesn't want her giving anything away. Yeah, this conspiracy runs deep.
Well, we're not going home empty-handed.
And I wouldn't dream of sending you packing with that, Kimmer. Here, take a handcuff or two.
Oh, well, it would be rude to say no. I'd want to become anemic.
Jesus.
I suppose, if there's anybody you might still ken about what happened back then, it'd be that lass from the forensic division, Mariah Gorey.
Who? Mariah Gorey?
Aye, Sife's jaw. She didn't have no more, just the one. But the wee bairns followed in her mouth's footsteps. You didn't ever seen her with a scalpel in her hand.
Ugh. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Mama! What is this?
Oh, where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? Dr. Scythe's daughter, Mariah Gorey. We could do with talking to her. I don't want to talk to her, actually. She tried to cut me up. She really said, I've never seen an Easter man before. Let's cut him open. open. And I'm like, whoa! That's me! So she's Dr. Scythe's daughter, but her surname is Gory?
Oh, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I didn't like the ins and outs of it. She grew up watching her nan working with the boys of folks who died in strange circumstances, and decided to do the same with her own life. I cannot understand it myself.
Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother.
That's impossible. Her mother's a cunt. Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Griggs's autopsy, I believe.
Right, and the coroner responsible for this incomplete report, because she was too busy hacking and slashing! She's like,
It is fine.
Someone told me once a while last, he always loved a man's stories about cutting up boys.
Jesus, bro, what? A weirdo.
There's even a ruby she's listening to funeral march as a lullaby.
Well, then perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago.
Oh, I'd say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, it was a life-changing case for all of us.
Really need to speak to Miss Gory yourself about this, I think. Oh shit, we go there soon. Well, thank you very much.
I'm not happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you not get up on this, Larry? Stop asking pointless questions.
I'm sorry, I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone.
Can you just stay away, huh? Leave me alone until I come back, eh?
I'm sorry, I actually have to ask you again. My bad, my fault, OG.
How'd you come to care about that, Larry? There's no many folks even here in the prison about those favors.
Well, I can't tell if Mr. Vigil told me.
I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir.
We've been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and testament. Is that right? The professor's, or rather, Genshin Asogi's.
Oh, that's right. You're well informed, Jimmy.
Oh, is that the end of the silent treatment? But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell, didn't it?
Heavens now, you're over the half-cocked, eh? I think you didn't quite get your facts straight. It was there in the cell exactly where it should have been.
Oh, not what we heard elsewhere. Oh, he's just fucking got it.
Let me have a way out, career. I'm sure I can find it. Oh, here you are. See?
The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi, written with a calligraphy brush.
Of course, I cannot read a word of those Japanese squiggles, but I might it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his homeland.
Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it.
So these are the Asogi papers?
Oh, of course they are. Papers written by Asogi, no doubt about it. His name is Drew, laddie. That's your lot. After all this drama should have sliced through an execution, we sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it.
I think we ought to make a record of this, Mr. Naruhodo, just in case.
Intriguing.
One finger before you go in your way, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, yes?
Those papers have naught to do with Gregson's death. I prefer if you deny make no mention of him outside his office, or rather, or wouldn't I just prefer it? Consider it an order from the highest levels of our government.
I understand. Alright, well, that about solves us. Now we can move to the prosecutor's office. It's finally time to hear Kazuma's side of the story, he says. The walkthrough. So, this is the office of Prosecutor Asogi now, is it? That's crazy.
Kazuma-sama is doing so well for himself.
Even though he's always forced to kneel on the floor Japanese style in that dark corner?
It's his habit to sit Caesar style whenever he's working.
Oh shit. Kazuma. I thought it wouldn't be long before you paid me a visit, Ryunosuke. I was right about what I said, wasn't I? Sorry? That you have all the makings of a great defense lawyer. Well, I always believed that you'd fulfill your dream of advocating in the British courts. Just never imagined for 1 second it would be as a prosecutor.
Seeing you stand in a foreign courtroom so gallantly realizing your dream, Kazuma-sama, I'm truly happy for you.
And I'm truly thankful to you, Judicial Assistant Miko Toba. Ryunosuke, I always thought it would be fun for you and I to shake up the British legal system a little together. This isn't quite how I envisioned it, but envisaged it. I suppose it's just another twist of fate. I've learned a lot of things during my time in London, about how Susato-san's father was himself a visiting student here once, along with Judge Jikoku, and about what happened with your father. Then you'll have no difficulty understanding why I had no choice, why I had to find a way to get to Britain as a visiting student myself. I want to hear it from you, Kazuma. As you wish, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Intriguing. Okay, so we need to go through everything. There's gonna be fucking 5 points, Jesus. It's getting on for a year now, since what happened on the SS Burya. We were heading across the oceans from Japan to Great Britain, when a bizarre series of coincidences led to those tragic events. I thought I'd lost my best friend forever. I must have been unconscious for a long time. When I awoke, I was lying on a bed. It was a narrow little room. There was a posy of flowers by the pillow. It took me a little while to realize I was in the cabin of a ship. I slipped out of the room and headed up onto the deck. Were you already suffering from amnesia at that point? Yes. I didn't know what had happened or where I was. There was just this voice in my head. You have something to do. Something no one else can know about. Go to Great Britain. Your task awaits you there. It was a calling I couldn't ignore. It compelled me relentlessly. Out on deck, I saw that I was on a huge steamship and we were docked in a large port.
It must have been Hong Kong.
Yes, it must have been, presumably just before they were due to carry your body off the ship. I had no idea of the situation, but I did have the feeling this was in some way my last chance, so I concealed myself among the disembarking passengers and went ashore. Then I disappeared into the crowded streets of that foreign port city, so I could plan my onward journey to Great Britain. What in the fuck? Just under a year ago, with all my past memories lost to me, I was left behind in Hong Kong. Everything was foreign to me. The sights, the sounds, the smells. My head reeled. I was truly at a loss. I realized now that I'd escaped as a dead man, with nothing but the clothes on my back. No money, of course.
Oh, how terrifying for you.
Luckily, though, I had 2 feathers in my cap. One being your knowledge of English, I suppose. That's right. And on the back of that, I was able to pick up some work as a deckhand on a cargo ship. Eventually, after recalling at countless ports, I finally arrived at Dover. That must have been some 3 months ago now. Your formidable tenacity of purpose showing itself again. I mean, the man had lost his memory and had literally nothing to his name. But he still managed to make his way to London on the opposite side of the world. Of course, I had no idea why I'd moved heaven and earth to get here at that point. So how did you end up becoming Lord Van Zieks' apprentice then? That can only be called an extraordinary stroke of luck, really. You see, I was stopped at the border because I had no papers. They took me straight to Scotland Yard. And by sheer coincidence, Lord Strongheart was there to attend a meeting. That's when the second feather in my cap came into play.
Would that have been your knowledge of the law?
Yes, exactly. Lord Strongheart was curious about an Easterner with intimate knowledge of British law. He took me back with him to the Supreme Court and assigned me to the prosecutor's office. And then, 9 days ago, you finally got your memory back after the trial involving Drebber. Yes, I did. Ever since I first met you at Yume, you talked about your dream. Mark my words, Ryunosuke! I'll be chosen as a visiting student and make my way to Great Britain someday! Did you know the entire time about what happened to your father here? 16 years ago. Oh, look at little Kazuma. When my father left on that exciting trip to Great Britain, I was just a boy. We took a photograph together the day before his departure. It's my last memory of him. But what I remember most about my father is his unswerving sense of justice. 6 years after he left, a gentleman called at our family home. He told me that Genshin, my father, had been taken ill in England and passed away. It was Professor Mikotoba, your father, Susanoo-san.
Oh my!
Ever since then, the professor was very good to me. He even helped me fund my university education at Yume. I'll be forever in his debt. But nevertheless, I just couldn't bring myself to believe what he told me.
Oh.
Then one day, a letter arrived at our house from Britain. There was no indication of the sender, so I opened it assuming it was from an old acquaintance of my father. What I read in that letter changed my entire life. What did it say? It said that my father had been a mass murderer, and the writer cursed the Asogi name.
Oh
no! As a result of that letter, I found out what had been hidden from me all those years. Oh, shit. Presumably, the letter was sent from a relative of one of the victims. If whoever it was had been a member of the judiciary, he could have been present at the closed trial. The letter revealed that my father had been sentenced to death, executed for being a killer. I'm so sorry you had to find out that way. I imagine the British government did its very best to silence whoever sent that letter. But someone who knew the truth and couldn't bear the resentment was always going to be a problem.
But still, it could have been written by anyone. Why would you believe such a thing?
There was a newspaper cutting included with the letter. It was the first I'd ever heard of the professor and his terrible killing spree.
Well, what did my father have to say about the letter?
I couldn't bring myself to show it to him. What? Why not? Because he deliberately concealed the truth from me by telling me my father was taken by a fatal illness. That couldn't have been easy for him, and he'd done it out of consideration for my feelings. So instead, I showed the letter to Judge Jigoku. To the other visiting student. He faltered for the briefest of moments, but then he just laughed the letter off. But in that moment, I saw it on his face. He was undeniably shocked, shaken momentarily before recovering his poise. A year later, my bereaved mother succumbed to the strain of grief, and she too passed away. That's when I made up my mind that one day, without fail, I would cross the seas to Britain and seek the truth for myself. The truth about my father, Genshin Asogi. And I wouldn't let anyone stand in my way!
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
What we learned today in court turned things around completely on their head. It was an impressive piece of lawyering, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, you know. I almost don't want to believe it myself, but it turns out that Inspector Gregson himself, the victim, was... It's clear that the Inspector was behind the Reaper's activity all along. You mean you knew? The real question is, who's been giving orders to the Inspector? Yes, Barrick Van Zieks is the real Reaper. And I know that 10 years ago it was him who decided my father must be a mass murderer and sent him to his grave!
No, he was merely seeing that justice was done as the law dictates. He's not to blame.
Ultimately, it's people who condemn people. The law is just a tool they use to do it. And when a man condemns another, he must take responsibility for his actions. Of course he must. But I know for certain that my father would never have taken another man's life. Kazuma. On the contrary, my father's life was taken by the Reaper! Shit, dude. Alright, let's present the autopsy report, which is actually right here. This came up in the trial, didn't it? Something a little dubious, I mean. The fact that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Gregson's autopsy report. Yes, there were some unexpected turns in the courtroom earlier. The suggestion you came up with certainly took everyone by surprise. The idea that the victim died the previous day at some other location is quite troubling. Or is quite something. Well, considering the pocket watch had stopped and the scorch marks on the candle, it's certainly a distinct possibility. The evidence in the scene both point to it. To be honest, it bothered me too. So I paid a visit to the autopsy room earlier. The coroner responsible wasn't there, but I got a name. It's Dr. Gory.
If it wouldn't trouble you, Kazuma-sama, we'd very much like to speak with the coroner too.
Of course, the last thing I want is for anything to be brushed under the carpet. Scotland Yard Autopsy Laboratory is behind Logate Cemetery. By Barclay Prison, you mean? Ah, you know it, do you? The prison where my father was incarcerated and robbed of his life.
Kazuma-sama.
Well, thank you. We'll pay a visit to the laboratory later today. Ryunosuke, I want to thank you. What for? For this. You safeguarded the soul of the Asogi clan. Well, it is a famous sword that's been in your family for generations. My only slight regret is I never got a chance to draw it before I returned it to you. Karuma is said to have been forged by a master swordsmith during the Sengoku Warring States period. I come from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom were expert swordsmen. Well then, you're a chip off the old block, I'd say. This blade, Karuma, is the symbol of the Asogi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname. Really? Karuma. It does sound formidable, that's for sure. 16 years ago, my father was a visiting student here in London. He had this sword forever at his side, which is why it means so much to me that I have it by my side again now too. And that is all thanks to you. It was an honor. Oh yeah. Now, I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I said a little too much. Kazuma, you've changed. No, Ryunosuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who's changed. I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Van Zeeks given what happened. But the fact is, those events in this case are, well, unrelated? Is that what you want to say? How can you be so sure? What do you mean? Never mind. That man is the Reaper. And it's for that reason the inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary. I can't let you do that, Kazuma. I know you'll do what you have to as a lawyer, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you I won't be taking any prisoners in the courtroom. I would expect nothing less. Until tomorrow, then, in the Old Bailey. Alright. Let's go to the forensics laboratory. Very exciting place to be. Oh, Jesus Christ. She is exactly what we worried she was going to be. This place. It really is creepy, isn't it?
Well, being a dead room, it's probably full of the spirits of the dissected. But actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air. Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needs a bold scent like that to mask the odor of death.
Iris, do you think we could change the subject?
What was that?
A ghost. Oh shit, she's right there. She's kind of cute. Dr. Gory? Oh my god, the fucking mask.
What?
That noise before.
I was sharpening my tools. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on them.
Right.
When following the collagen fibers in the dermis, an expertly sharpened scalpel cuts like cheese. Would you like a demonstration? Oh yes, please, I'd love to see. Then, I think you'll do nicely.
No, I wouldn't do nicely at all. I mean, maybe some other time. Was that a tut? You tut at me, motherfucker? Well, we came here to ask questions, so. I don't want to fucking... Okay. Present the autopsy reports. Oh my god. But Dr. Gory, we actually came here to ask you about this.
He was very good.
Good. Sorry?
His skin didn't drag my blade once, and very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with.
We can skip those details. But there's one thing about the report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death. Hold on, I need to check something. I need to check something real quick. It's the wrong button. I need to check something real quick, actually. Hold on. Okay, perfect. God damn, she a baddie, bro! Changing the voice immediately.
That's not my fault.
Oh, that made me jump.
Then please, tell us what happened.
Yo, she is a baddie, bro! Oh my god! Actually, top 1 baddies in this series, bro. So why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death then? It's really the most crucial detail.
I was told not to write it!
When she has the mask on, we do that voice. What? By whom?
Mayor Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice. He came here.
Lord Strongheart came.
He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on 1st November when the gunshot was heard.
But that's not the time of death you wrote in the report. You didn't write anything. Was there some reason you didn't include it?
Dr. Gory, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later you're going to go the same way as your mother.
Give it here then.
What's she scribbling so furiously?
There.
You've written...
What? What's he written?
Indeterminate.
What?
Why? What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate?
When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh. So the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard.
But there was one small discrepancy.
What discrepancy?
There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat. And that fish had started to rot.
What?
If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off.
Well, yes. What are you really trying to say?
It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death.
Manipulate the... Is that even possible to do?
Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of petrification. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time,
Then only the fish would have started to rot.
with today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if a body was chilled or not.
But today's science is advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems.
But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device. No, definitely not, but maybe in a factory or some other special places. I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on Fresno Street, though. I wonder if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow. What might the actual time of death have been?
I couldn't say for sure.
But at the most, it might have been a day earlier.
No!
In other words, it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruhodo. That Inspector Gregson was killed a day before his body was discovered at a different location.
Did you inform Lord Strongheart of this possibility?
He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity.
She's such a fucking baddie, bro! One other thing. It's something the governor of Barclay Prison told us that we will talk about in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. For now, I'm going to get the fuck up out and end the episode.